Hey everyone, welcome to the AI Tech channel. Today, we're diving into a story that blurs the lines between technology, justice, and the very essence of human grief. Is it a groundbreaking use of AI to give a voice to the voiceless, or a potentially dangerous precedent that could manipulate emotions in the courtroom? Let's get into it. Imagine this, a courtroom filled with tension. The killer of a young man is about to be sentenced. But then, something extraordinary happens. The victim, who can no longer speak for himself, addresses his killer through the power of artificial intelligence. This isn't a movie, this is real life. This happened in Arizona, and it's sending shockwaves through the legal and tech communities. Some are calling it a revolutionary step forward, a way to ensure that victims have a voice, even after death. But others are deeply concerned about the ethical implications. Could this technology be used to manipulate juries? Could it distort the truth? We're going to break it all down for you, and by the end of this video, you'll have a much clearer understanding of the complex issues at play. But first, let's get into the details of what actually happened. In 2021, Christopher Pelkey was tragically killed in a road rage incident in Chandler, Arizona. Fast forward to 2024, during the sentencing hearing of his killer, Gabriel Horcasitas, something unprecedented occurred. Chris, through the use of AI, delivered his own victim impact statement. His sister, Stacey Wales, along with her husband Tim and their friend Scott Yenser, spearheaded this project. They used AI to recreate Chris's likeness and voice, allowing him to speak from beyond the grave. Stacey explains that after collecting 49 letters for the judge, she felt a crucial voice was missing, Chris's own. So, they embarked on a painstaking journey, using various AI tools and technologies to bring Chris back to life in a digital form. It wasn't easy. Stacey described it as creating a Frankenstein of love, piecing together different elements to create a cohesive representation of Chris. The family painstakingly gathered voice recordings, photos, and videos of Chris, feeding them into AI algorithms that learned his mannerisms, speech patterns, and even his sense of humor. The goal wasn't just to create a realistic avatar, but to capture the essence of who Chris was as a person. And the result, according to those who knew him best, was remarkably accurate. A key element was deciding what the AI Chris would actually say. Stacey emphasized the importance of detaching her own feelings and allowing the AI to express Chris's perspective, even if it differed from her own. In the AI-generated video, Chris addressed his killer, saying, "In another life, we probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have and I still do." This message of forgiveness deeply moved Judge Todd Lang, who described it as genuine and reflective of Chris's character. Chris's brother, John, who was unaware of the AI video beforehand, said that seeing Chris's face and hearing his voice offer forgiveness brought him a wave of healing. Horcasitas was ultimately sentenced to nearly 13 years in prison. So, how did they actually create this AI Chris? Let's dive into the tech. This process likely involved several key AI technologies, starting with generative adversarial networks, GANs. GANs are a class of machine learning frameworks where two neural networks can test with each other in a game. One network, the generator, creates new data instances, while the other, the discriminator, evaluates them for authenticity. This constant back and forth leads to increasingly realistic outputs. In this case, GANs would have been used to generate realistic images and videos of Chris based on the existing data. Next, they would have used voice cloning, a technique that allows AI to mimic a person's voice after analyzing a relatively small sample of their speech. This is achieved through deep learning models that learn the unique characteristics of a person's voice, such as pitch, tone, and rhythm. The AI can then use this information to generate new speech in that person's voice. And finally, natural language processing, NLP, played a crucial role in crafting the script for the AI Chris. NLP algorithms were used to analyze Chris's past writings and speeches, identifying his characteristic phrases, vocabulary, and writing style. This information was then used to generate a script that sounded authentically like Chris. This whole process is underpinned by research in the field of affective computing. One paper worth noting is Affective Computing by Rosalind Picard from MIT, which explores how computers can recognize, interpret, and respond to human emotions. Understanding Chris's emotional expression would have been crucial in creating a believable AI representation. The ethical considerations here are immense, and we'll dive deeper into those in a bit. But first, let's look at the legal implications. The use of AI in courtrooms is a relatively new phenomenon, and there are many legal and ethical questions that need to be addressed. One of the biggest concerns is the potential for bias. AI algorithms are trained on data, and if that data reflects existing societal biases, the AI will perpetuate those biases. This could lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes in the courtroom. For example, if the AI is trained on data that overrepresents certain demographics as criminals, it might be more likely to perceive individuals from those demographics as guilty. Another concern is the potential for manipulation. AI can be used to create deepfakes, which are highly realistic videos or audio recordings that can be used to spread misinformation or damage a person's reputation. In the courtroom, deepfakes could be used to create false evidence or to manipulate the emotions of jurors. Consider the arguments. On one side, proponents argue that AI can provide a powerful tool for victims and their families, allowing them to have a voice in the justice system, even after death. They argue that it can help to ensure that the victim's perspective is heard and that the perpetrator is held accountable. They also point out that AI can be used to provide more objective and accurate evidence, reducing the risk of human error or bias. On the other side, critics argue that AI is inherently biased and that it can be used to manipulate emotions and distort the truth. They argue that it could lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes in the courtroom and that it could undermine the integrity of the justice system. They also raise concerns about the potential for deepfakes to be used to create false evidence or to damage a person's reputation. So, how do we navigate these complex ethical considerations? One potential solution is to require transparency and oversight in the use of AI in the courtroom. This could involve disclosing the algorithms used, the data they were trained on, and the potential for bias. It could also involve having human experts review the AI's outputs to ensure that they are accurate and fair. Another solution is to develop ethical guidelines for the use of AI in the courtroom. These guidelines could address issues such as bias, manipulation, and privacy. They could also establish standards for the accuracy and reliability of AI-generated evidence. One verifiable method to check the validity of AI-generated content would be to use AI detection software. These tools work by analyzing the text for patterns and characteristics that are common in AI-generated content. However, it's important to note that these tools are not always accurate, and they should be used with caution. Beyond the technology and the legal considerations, this story is ultimately about human grief and the search for closure. Stacey Wales's decision to use AI to recreate her brother was driven by a deep desire to ensure that his voice was heard and that his killer was held accountable. It was an act of love, grief, and a determination to find some measure of peace in the face of unimaginable loss. It's important to remember that behind every AI application, there are human beings with emotions, motivations, and values. Technology is a tool, and it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us to ensure that it's used in a way that respects human dignity and promotes justice. This case highlights the need for a broader societal conversation about the ethical implications of AI. As AI becomes more powerful and pervasive, we need to develop clear guidelines and regulations to ensure that it's used responsibly. We need to consider the potential for bias, manipulation, and unintended consequences. And we need to ensure that human values remain at the center of our decision-making. What do you think? Was this an appropriate use of AI? Should we be using this technology in the courtroom? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. The Arizona case is just the beginning. As AI technology continues to advance, we can expect to see it used in more and more areas of our lives, including the legal system. It's crucial that we have these conversations now, before AI becomes so ingrained in our society that it's difficult to change course. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it in a way that aligns with our values and promotes a just and equitable society. So what's next? Will we see more AI-generated victim impact statements in the future? Will this technology become commonplace in courtrooms around the world? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the ethical and legal implications of AI are complex and far-reaching. We need to approach this technology with caution, transparency, and a commitment to human values. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more AI tech news and analysis. And be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.